What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Gaming Clubhouse podcast. This is episode 2, and my name is Sonny G. Back for another week of gaming chatter. Thank you to anybody who checked out the show last week. I had a blast recording it. It felt nice to be recording a podcast for my channel again. Like I said to you last week, it's something that I've been planning to do for a little while now and just haven't really got round to doing. Managed to find a little bit of time and thought I'd do it. And we're back again this week doing the same thing because I found a little bit of time. So I'm going to try and find time every week to do this because I like doing it. It's a good outlet for me. And of course, we are going to be getting back to the Games and Graps podcast very soon. I have spoken with Finn about it, and we're just waiting for the right moment, really. Right chance to get back together and start recording on a regular basis. So keep a lookout for that on social media and all the rest of it. And I'll talk about it on here as well and let you know when stuff's going to happen. But we're back for another week, and I had a really busy content week last week and a really good content week as well. And because of that, it led to more traffic to the channel, more views, more likes, more subscribers, more comments, more everything. And that's really great. And I'm super grateful for anybody who stops by the channel. And, you know, even if you watch just for a little bit of time, I appreciate it. No matter what content I put out, people seem to be there at the minute, which is great. Some stuff gets more views than others. So that's normal, natural. But I'm super grateful at this point in my YouTubing life. Consistency is key. And that's what I'm striving for at the minute is consistency. And the last couple of weeks, I think I've really sort of hit consistency, and I'm really happy, and long may it continue. Yeah, long may it continue. So let's get down to it. What have I been playing this week? Now, last week I spoke about my plan and the list of games that I've got that I want to get through. And because I had such a content creation heavy week last week, I didn't really sort of get a chance to sort of sit in game as much as I would have liked, but I have been playing on my Switch a bit. So I did finish a run through of Streets of Rage 4, which I absolutely adored. If you've not played Streets of Rage 4, I definitely recommend it. I love the animation is gorgeous. The way that it just looks and feels, it feels so old school, but new all at the same time, if that makes sense. And I just loved it, absolutely everything about it. I enjoyed my entire playthrough, so much so that I'm going to go and do it with the rest of the characters as well. But I loved it. It's really great. The gameplay is super addictive. It just feels so good. You know, beating bad guys up on the streets just feels fantastic. It really does feel fantastic. And the soundtrack is amazing as well. Like the score is unbelievable. One of my favorites in recent memory, I think. But it's just absolutely stunning. It again, much like the graphics and the gameplay, it sort of encapsulates the old school Streets of Rage games, but also brings it into the modern era, which is just so great. And I love that it exists. And it's a game that I wanted to sort of play through. I know they're only short games anyway, so I say play through. They're only very short. I can't remember how many hours it took me at this point, but I wanted to get through it with a view to eventually sort of pick up Shinobi, the new Shinobi game, before the year's out, because I played the demo for that when the demo came out and loved it. So my intention is to play Shinobi before the end of the year. But Streets of Rage felt like a nice little warm up for it. I'm really glad I did it, and it's one of them games that you can just dip back into and play. You know, it's not exactly story intense. It is literally walking sideways and beating the living crap out of anybody that comes your way, and that's a good time in my opinion. Aside from that, I have been playing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind on PlayStation 5. Similar sort of game to Streets of Rage. but it's not as polished. It's good, and I'm enjoying it. I mean, I'm having a blast with it, but it's not as polished. But it really does sort of take me back to playing the Power Rangers games on the Mega Drive when I was a lot younger, because I'm an olden. So I remember when those games first came out, playing them the first time around, and playing this really does feel like an awesome throwback to those games, and I'm enjoying it. I am. It's just the combat doesn't feel as refined to me as Streets of Rage 4, and it might feel like a bit of an unfair comparison, but the games they're very similar styles. They are side-scrolling beat 'em ups, so yeah, that aspect of it doesn't quite feel polished, but I'm still enjoying it, still having fun with it. It's not overly long either, and I think I've nearly finished my first run through of that as well. But I like the Zord um, like battles. I think that's really cool. The dinosaur battles, like I'm playing as the Red Ranger because, of course, and like you have segments that sort of like I guess Space Harrier, where you're running forward and you're just shooting a bunch of stuff, and then it comes to a boss fight, and then eventually you all morph together to make the Megazord, and you have like a first person stand up fight with one of the bosses, which are familiar enemies of the Power Rangers if you've ever watched the Power Rangers TV show back in the day, which is the campest fun ever. But it's awesome. So yeah, good game, good game. I'm enjoying it. It's just, I guess, when you come off the back of playing Streets of Rage 4 or something that is a little bit more polished, this can feel a little less so, but it's still good, and I'm enjoying it. So I'll have that finished soon, and then the rest of my gaming time, apart from creating content, has been with Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, which I'm absolutely loving. I'm only a couple of hours, I think, from the end now. I've just got to the sewers, but I'm loving it. This is how a remake should be done, in my opinion. It's probably as close to a perfect remake as you're going to get, because it still kept that core gameplay and the gameplay mechanics from the original, but modernized it enough so it feels good to play now. And if you're a fan of the series, I highly recommend it. Like, I can't recommend it enough. The graphical upgrade is phenomenal. There's a real beautiful level of detail there in absolutely every aspect. In the characters, they all look incredibly detailed. They look very Konami, it must be said, but they look incredibly detailed and gorgeous. But it's the environments that really that really stand out for me in this game. Now, the environment is a big part of this game anyway, because it's set in the jungle, and that's what everybody remembers it for. Obviously, until you get a little bit deeper into the game, and then you start getting into buildings and blah blah blah. But the jungle is just so incredibly detailed. Just everything about it. The textures are gorgeous. Just everything. The grass, the mud, the trees, everything just stunning. And from a sound perspective as well, the sound is next level. It's just such a phenomenal game. It was phenomenal then, and it's phenomenal now. And it's a game also that I feel was so far ahead of its time, especially with like the healing and the curing. Is it perhaps a little unnecessary, especially when in the other games you just eat a ration to get better? Yeah, potentially, but there's also something very satisfying about it. Satisfying about healing and curing and stuff like that, and getting the right remedies. And yeah, it was just such a game that was just so far ahead of its time, and I'm delighted that they've remade it, and I really hope that the others get a remake as well. I'd love to see Metal Gear Solid 1 remade. I think if you're going to remake that, you probably have to use Twin Snakes as a base for it, right? Because Twin Snakes stuck in GameCube purgatory, never to be seen again. Much like Metal Gear Solid 4, just stuck on the PS3. Now, I'm sure we're going to see Metal Gear Solid 4 as part of the next collection that they do. But I would love to see Twin Snakes on that as well. Whether it happens or not is another thing. Maybe it could be added to the GameCube section of the Nintendo Switch Online. I'd love that. Do I see that happening? No, but I would love that. But I think going back to it, if you're going to remake Metal Gear Solid One, you use Twin Snakes as a base to to help remake it from the ground up, because there's a lot of work to be done there, and it's also only a very short game. So I don't know what you do to drag it out. Maybe you don't drag it out. Maybe you just sort of you bring out as it was a short game, which is I'm fine with that. By the way, I love short games. Short games are I'm all about short games. Metal Gear Solid Delta is a short game, and I'm here for it. Absolutely here for it. I've spoken about this before, and I'll bang the drum until the end of time that short games are fine. Now, everything has to be 100, 200, 300, 400, infinity hours long. 10 hours, 10 to 15 hours is absolutely fine. Shout out to my short game gamers out there who also love the short games. But yeah, would love to see Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. 3 was actually my least favourite out of those. I love it. I do love the game still, but it was my least favourite. I think, I love 1 so much. It was one of the games. The first one is one of the games that just changed everything for me in terms of the way that I saw games and the way that I saw storytelling in games. And every time I sort of go back to Metal Gear Solid 1 now, I look at it, I'm like, God, this is, for when it came out, but for what it is, it's unbelievable. It really is. It's just an absolute masterclass in storytelling, and just the world that they created around sort of loosely based on real world events and putting this sort of batshit world around it's just masterful. And that's Kojima. That's Kojima all over. And obviously he's doing, still doing great things now with the Death Stranding games. But yeah, I would love to see Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 remade. 4, I just would like to have it see the light of day again. And 5, I would love to get around to finishing. But to me, it just isn't what I see Metal Gear Solid as. But I would love to go back and do it just so that I can say that I've done it, Just so that I can say that I've done them all. Because it's the only one that I haven't done. So I'd like to go back and do that. Maybe I'll install it on my Xbox or my PS5 and maybe force myself to do it one day. Not force myself, because I don't want to have to force myself through it. I want to play it and enjoy it. But I think if I'm going to do that, it's going to have to be the only game that I play. I'm going to have to focus literally all my attention on it and just blast through it. I know it's long as well, but it is a game that I want to play. So maybe one day, we'll see. We'll see. So there's that. So that's what I'm playing at the minute. I still plan on sort of getting through my list of games that I went through last week. If I finish Metal Gear Solid tonight, which is very likely, considering I don't have much left, I might start plowing through Gears of War Reloaded, because that's not very long. 6-7 hours, probably 8 at a push. But get that off the list. Yeah. But there's other stuff that's coming out that I want to play. Ideally, I wanted to get Metal Gear Solid finished before EAFC 26 comes out this week, because that's going to start consuming my life as it does every single year. I put hours and hours and hours into it, and that's where the bulk of my gaming goes, into EAFC. So we're going to that's when I do this next week, I'm going to be like, yeah, I've been playing just been playing EAFC. Hopefully not. There is other stuff that I want to play as well. The new Skate launches in early access today, and I've got it downloaded onto my Xbox already, ready for the launch later today. And I don't know what to expect. I've seen loads of crazy videos online of people doing just ridiculous stuff. So it's no longer grounded like the Skate series was always sort of famed for. It's gone to the ridiculous free-to-play open world side of things, and I'm not really sure how I feel about it, because Skate is a franchise that I hold dear to my heart. I love skateboarding games anyway. I have big time skate envy because I can't skate. I have zero balance. I'm the worst. But I love skateboarding culture, all that sort of stuff. And Skate is a franchise that I really do hold dear to my heart. And I love the first 3 entries into the series. And obviously, Skate 3 was it came out on the 360. That's how long this sort of franchise has been sat doing nothing. So for this to be the next entry into the Skate franchise, I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I'll obviously save my judgment until I've played the game for myself. And I will talk about it next week when we do this. But yeah, I want it to be good. It looks like there's a shitload of stuff to do. I've seen like the map and all the different stuff that's available on the map to do, and it looks crazy. It looks like there's so much to do on it. I just hope that it's not ridiculous. I hope that that great core gameplay is still there. But remains to be seen. But I will. I mean, like I said, I've seen all the videos. I've seen all the crazy stuff that people are doing. But I want to reserve the judgment until I've played it for myself. I want to see it and play it and feel it in action for myself before I really reserve judgment, because I have feelings about it now based on what I've seen, but I'm not going to be that guy that just goes, "Oh, it's crap, it's absolute shit," before I've even played it, because I don't want to do that. I want to play it for myself first. I also intend on checking out the Retromania Wrestling DLC that's just come out. Another game that I love so much. I spoke to Mike, the creator of the game, on the Games and Graps podcast ages before it came out, when it first, was in development, and we've sort of maintained a communication since then. So I'm looking forward to checking out that DLC a lot. It adds Demolition, Macho Man Randy Savage, Magnum TA, and the Rock and Roll Express. But not only does it add new wrestlers, it adds some new game modes and some new championships as well. It breathes new life into the game. So I'm really looking forward to checking that out. It's a game that I spent a lot of time with. I got 1,000 gamer score on the Xbox version. I got the platinum on the PlayStation version. And I do have it installed on my Switch too as well. And it's a game that I do still play a lot now. So I'm really looking forward to checking that DLC out. It is out now on the Xbox and PlayStation and Steam. The Switch, the DLC is coming out on the Switch in a couple of weeks' time, I've been told. So a bit of a delay on the Switch, but it is available on everything else. So I'm excited to check that out. I probably will do that at some point over the next couple of days. But I'm really excited for that. I love a wrestling game anyway, and I talk about wrestling games all the time. It's just a genre that I love so much, because it's a medium that I love so much. I love pro wrestling. Always have, always will. I'm dipping in and out of it at the minute, but that's a conversation for another podcast. But yeah, and there's a bunch of VR games as well that I've got lined up that I'm excited to check out. Of Lies and Rain is one that I've got loaded up on my MetaQuest 3 that I'm going to check out. I'm going to do a video for, and also Titan Isles, which I'm really excited to check out. I'm excited to check out both of those games. Both, I love big blockbuster single player games in VR, because there is nothing like experiencing worlds in VR. It's great being immersed in a world, when you're playing a flat screen game. But in VR, when you're in that world, when you're inside a living, breathing space, there's nothing quite like it. And I'm very excited to check out both of those games. I will have videos for both of those games dropping on my channel, so you can you'll be able to that'll be before the end of this week for Of Lies and Rain, and next week for Titan Isles, because there's an embargo on it. But I might drop an early impressions. There's only so much that I'm allowed to put out at the minute and talk about at the minute. But with that, from the 24th onwards, that's when I'm allowed to talk about it properly and put a proper long form video out for it. But I might put something short form out in the interim period, just to wet the whistle, as it would be. But Of Lies and Rain, I aim to have a video out before the end of the week. Probably a good long form video as well. It'll probably be a good amount of time, not the usual sort of 15-minute videos that I put out for these games when it's a game that's like a story-based game that has a world and stuff like that to explore. I like to do things a little different. I like to put out longer videos, and this game looks absolutely gorgeous. So I'm excited to put a longer video out for it, and I'm excited to check it out. So yeah, there's that. I put a video out for Fruit Golf this week. Now, this is a game that I spoke about last week on the podcast, and it was a game that I was excited about then, and I hadn't yet played it. But since then, I have had access to it, and I have played it, and I put a video out for it, and I absolutely adore it. And it's a game that's going to be a mainstay on my channel for a long time to come. I'm excited to play some multiplayer stuff with Finn as well, and we're going to be doing that. I hope to get a video out with Finn on Fruit Golf this week. It's only Tuesday now when I'm recording, so hopefully sort of Wednesday, Thursday or Friday, I'd like to get a multiplayer Fruit Golf video out with Finn. But I love it. It's my kind of game. You know, I love playing golf games, sports games, stuff like that in general on my Quest anyway, but this one is a little bit different. So obviously you're playing with fruit instead of a golf ball. And, you know, each fruit is very different. On the video that I did, I played with a melon as a ball. I've played using a pomegranate as well. And both are very different to play with. And that's really cool. It adds a different levels to the game, different levels to master. So there's a lot of good content in the game at the minute. There's more to come as well. You know, it's still in early access itself. So it's still very much in its infancy. But it's a game that I'm really excited to see grow. And, you know, I'm going to do videos alongside the game's growth and just keep putting videos out. So I'm still going to put some solo stuff out as well. So I'm going to do the multiplayer stuff with Finn, and I'm still going to put some solo stuff out as I check out, you know, the variety of the courses that are on the game, show you the different types of fruit that you can play with. So I aim to show a lot of that game off, and it's a game that I'm really, really excited by. So keep a lookout for that, but definitely do check out Fruit Golf. It is available now on the MetaQuest store. So go and have a look at it. It's $7.99, well worth it. And I had a really interesting comment on the video for it. I can't remember whether it was the short that I put out or whether it was the long form video, but it was like, you see a lot of these games on Quest and they look very sort of kiddified and, you know, just throwaway, and you just sort of brush past them. And that, you know, and then they went on to say, but this looks really fun and I'm going to check it out. And I think that is the importance of content creators, because sometimes you would just look at that game on the store and go, no, not for me. It looks like it's for little kids, and just bypass it completely. But, you know, I'm not saying this is the importance of me, myself, but I mean, in general, you know, it's good that content creators can bring eyes to these games so that people don't miss out on them, because you're missing out on a really good time if you do skip over it. And that'd be a real shame. It really would be. So definitely go check out Fruit Golf. And thank you to anybody who checked out the video or the short or anything like that. It is very much appreciated. Other than that, we had played some more Pinball VR, Pinball FX VR. Sampled a few of the licensed tables. I'm really enjoying that game at the minute. It's so good. Just so much fun. I'm so bad at it, but I love revisiting these tables. You know, there's a lot of them that I recognize from when I was a kid. So when I was a kid, obviously, you know, pinball was still pretty big. Like, you could go to most arcades and they'd have like a big row of pinball machines. So, you know, I played the Addams Family, I played Indiana Jones, Twilight Zone, and Star Trek The Next Generation, and I enjoyed all of them. I was terrible at them, but I did manage to, you know, put out a nice short video that people seem to enjoy. So I will keep putting out Pinball FX VR videos because I'm enjoying playing it, and people seem to be enjoying the content as well. So that's a great game, by the way. You know, if you like pinball or have had any sort of interest in pinball, it feels so good to play. You know, it feels like you're there. And again, you know, I know that's the purpose of virtual reality, but when you're standing over one of these pinball tables and you're playing, you genuinely feel like you're just there playing. And that is just why I love VR so much, because you can't get that feeling from playing flat screen games. You just can't. I know that Pinball FX is available in flat screen and stuff like that, but it's you just can't match that feeling. Like, I don't think I could go and play Pinball FX on my Switch or my PlayStation or Xbox or wherever and get that same buzz off it. I'm sure it'd still be fun, but it's just nowhere near the level of fun that you're getting out of it playing in VR. And I'll die on that hill. I've always been a big advocate for VR anyway, but yeah, it's just so much fun. And yeah, you could say the same for a lot of VR games, to be fair. You just get something out of VR that you don't get from flat screen, and vice versa. There's things that you get out of flat screen that you just can't get in VR. So there's positives to both, and this is why, again, like I argued last week, that both of these gaming genres, platforms, mediums, whatever you want to call them, can live in the same space, because there is something to offer from both sides that the other can't match. So Pinball FX VR, go check that out. That's great. And of course, I've been continuing my Walkabout Mini Golf series. Now, Walkabout Mini Golf is my favorite VR game of all time. I think it's up there with my actual favorite games in general of all time. And I don't, never hide, never shy away from that. Every time I do a video, I'm always very sort of high on the game. I always praise it to, the highest level that it can be possibly be praised. And yesterday, they announced that the closer DLC for 2025 is going to be Alice in Wonderland, which is very, very exciting. I love these licensed courses. I love all the ones that are on there at the minute. The Jules Verne ones are excellent. All of them are excellent. The Wallace and Gromit one is excellent. So I'm really excited for Alice in Wonderland. I think that's it's a very, very exciting one, because that world is nuts, right? It's just such a bonkers world, and to be able to um, be in that and play mini golf around it, I think is going to be really cool. So I'm very excited for that. And when I saw the announcement, I was just like, oh man, it just gets better. And there's still more courses to come this year, as well as that. In the lead up to that, which is, so like I said, that's going to be the last DLC for the year. But there's still other stuff and other updates coming to the game, and it's just a game that keeps going from strength to strength. And anytime somebody messages me and says, "Oh, I've bought a VR headset. What do you recommend?" Without a shadow of a doubt, that's the first game on that I recommend. 100%. If you're looking to get yourself into VR and you want to know what's fun to play and what's good to play, that is my ultimate recommendation. And it will always be. I'm pretty certain of that. There are others. A lot of people would go for Beat Saber, but I would go for, and as great as Beat Saber is, I would always go for Walkabout Mini Golf all day. And, as great as Beat Saber is, there's rhythm games that I prefer to Beat Saber. I love Synth Riders. I think Synth Riders is excellent, very underrated actually, and I think that's one that everybody should check out. It's available on Quest VR, PSVR. There's a lot to enjoy there in Synth Riders. Great bass soundtrack, great DLC. So Synth Riders is right up there. Smash Drums is another. Smash Drums is the best drumming game available in VR. That's just recently come out on PSVR 2. I did a video for that. And what I loved with that is the way that the sort of the camera cut, like automatically during the recording, it made my video look absolutely sick. And I'm sure it made other people's videos look sick as well, but it made mine look sick. And that was what was important to me. I looked back at it, I was like, oh, it's just killer. It just looks awesome. And I love stuff like that. I love how VR is just it's just getting better all the time. There's new things being introduced, and it's such an exciting medium to be a part of. And I'm so happy to be a VR content creator. I know I do flat screen as well, but predominantly, my videos are VR. So yeah, I love the genre so much, and I love the medium so much. I love the platforms so much, and I'll keep doing it until it's no longer a thing. Speaking of VR, and it's sort of related. Well, I guess it is related. I mean, there was a Nintendo Switch Direct this week, and they announced that the Virtual Boy, Nintendo's failed virtual reality experiment from back in the day, is making a comeback. They're bringing a bunch of the games from the Virtual Boy to Nintendo Switch Online, which obviously is Nintendo's online service. And it's a good service, by the way. Great service. Love that they've added GameCube to it now, and there's a whole heap of Nintendo 64, and going all the way back in time. And I'm sure they'll add Wii and stuff like that to it as well. But the Virtual Boy is the next up, being added to it, and they've announced that you need the accessory to go along with it, so that you can order. At least in the States, you can order. I don't know if you can even order it over here yet, but you can order like the Virtual Boy headset, but you still have to slide the Switch into it to make it work. But you need it to play the games. You can't play the games without this accessory. So there's the plastic version that looks like the Virtual Boy that they brought out way back, and it's $100. So I think I'm going to bypass that one. I don't care enough about it. I don't really have an affinity to it. I don't really sort of. I don't. Yeah, I'm not paying £100. I'm not paying £100 for it, or whatever it will equate to in pounds. No, Nintendo will just be straight up £99, like it's $99. They don't care about no conversion. But alongside that, they are bringing out like a cardboard version of it. And saying it out loud makes it sound absolutely ridiculous. So if you think, so I guess it's like the Labo. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it, that they brought out for the original Switch, which sort of you could play Super Mario Odyssey in VR, quote unquote VR. So they're bringing out and it's considerably cheaper. It's like $25. And I will probably go for that because I will want to try it. I know what I'm like. I'm not going to just sit there and go, nah, I'm not going to bother. While them games are sat there that I can't play. I subscribe to that service, so I want to play those games. And it's sort of VR, and I want to play them. The games look bloody terrible, to be quite frank. But I want to play them. I want to play that tennis game, that Mario tennis game. I want to play it. I want it. I need to play it, actually. I need to play it to see it for myself, to see how crap it is. It might be great. I don't think it is. And from what I'm reading, it's probably some people have fond memories of the Virtual Boy. Some people don't have such fond memories of the Virtual Boy. But I'll get the cardboard. I'll get the cardboard one and play with that. And I'll do a video on it as well, just to show you all what this cardboard thing that I have to put my Switch 2 screen into looks like. But you can go and have a look on. If you've not seen it already, there'll be videos of what the Virtual Boy accessory looks like. And it's actually kind of cool. Like the accessory itself is pretty cool, but I'm not paying that money for it. I'm just not. I can't justify it. I just can't. And I'm not going to. This is me convincing myself that I'm not going to. But I am going to get the cardboard one. I've set my sights on that. I'm going to get the cardboard one and play the games that way. Because you can still play the games. It has the lenses in there that sort of tricks it into being stereoscopic 3D. So we're going to do that. So it's not out till next year, like February next year, I think it is. And I'm sure you'll be able to get it in this country. They've just not. Well, at least at time of recording, they haven't announced any sort of pricing or anything like that, or where to order it or anything like that. But I'm sure that'll come over time, and then I'll just figure it out from there. But I will get my hands on the cardboard thing, and we'll check out the Virtual Boy games that are coming to Nintendo Switch online in February next year. So yeah, not sure there's anything else I really wanted to talk about this week. I've been waffling on for 35 minutes. Yeah, I think I'm done for this week. We'll talk next week. We'll talk about the VR games that I've mentioned. Probably not Titan Isles actually, because by the time I record, the embargo still wouldn't have lifted. But we'll talk about Lies of and Rain next week, and we'll talk about Skate and Retromania Wrestling's DLC and whatever else I've been playing up until then. But for now, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Gaming Clubhouse podcast. If you have, please like, subscribe, share, and all that other good YouTubey, podcasty type stuff. But for now, my name is Sunny G. This is the Gaming Clubhouse podcast, and we'll be back next week for another episode. Thank you so much, everybody, for your support. It is much appreciated. Keep sticking with me. More content is on the way. See you next week, guys. Take it easy. Goodbye.